So to create a new mind map, all you need to do is click New, and you'll have the option to create a brand new mind map. So the type of mind map you might be used to, if you're used to drawing by hand, is the organic map. And the idea behind that is that the branches that you're creating, even though they're digital, look a lot more hand-drawn, they look more creative, and they are more closely aligned to the old style of mind mapping. Speed maps, the idea behind that is the branches can be added very quickly to your mind map without having to worry too much where the branches are placed, as they'll be organized automatically. And then the radial map is not a traditional mind map, but is a new feature, which is a different way of communicating your map. So today I'm going to start off in the organic view. So your mind map, it could be about anything you want. So it could be a particular project you want to get started. It could be a problem you're trying to solve, or it could even be a meeting that you're collaborating in. So today I'm going to make my mind map about working from home. And I can choose what I want my central idea to be. So ideally you want your central idea to be colourful. It's the focus of your map and where all your ideas are going to stem from. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick a shape, but I'm also going to add an image. Now here I can choose to either add an image from my laptop, or if I click search web, I can have a look for a royalty-free image. I love this feature. It makes it so much easier for me not to worry about finding the perfect picture. I can just type in a keyword. It gives me a load of suggestions, and I can just get started really quickly. So we've got our central idea where we're going to build our mind map from. So our next steps is to add our parent branches. So the parent branches are a way of breaking down that initial problem, that initial question, or breaking down, what you need to think about. So what do I want to think about working from home? So it could be concerns, communication, workspace, as you may have noticed, I've stuck to keywords on these branches. The way that Tony Bazan always described mind mapping is that the basic principles are to stick to one word per branch. The reason for that is it will help to spark ideas. And to be honest, it'll be easier for you to read the map. The more information you start adding to the map, the trickier it's going to be to read. And to be honest, if you've got paragraphs and paragraphs of text coming off a branch, you might as well just be using, Notepad. I will be giving advice on, how to get around that if you're struggling to stick to one or two words per branches. But if you're using this organic branch, I really would try just to stick to one word. And the other big part of mind mapping is colour. So as you can see, each of these branches has a different colour, so it would be much easier for me to follow the connections as I start to build my map. I can reshuffle my parent branches along. So all I need to do is just hold this here, and I can swivel this about, reorganize my map if I want to do this in a slightly different order. So as we move on, we start to build our map. So for example, I'm going to start from workspace, and something that's on my mind right now is comfort. Bear with me a second. I'm getting used to the internet here, not quite as fantastic as it was at our lovely office in Tech Marina, so it may just need to adjust slightly. Bear with me just a second. There we go. So for example, workspace, comfort. I'm going to break my own rules straight away by adding 2 words. So for example, from workspace, I'm starting to think, okay, what things am I concerned about that are related to my workspace? So comfort, no distractions. So comfort, it was something that I've realized today. Chair. My chair is completely inappropriate and I'm really uncomfortable. No distractions. Headphones. A desk. No TV on in the background, and so on. So I've started off from this one branch, workspace, and from here I'm already beginning to problem solve and work out how I'm going to manage working from home. And as the branches develop, I will start to come with, it's already beginning to help me come up with solutions for the questions I'm asking myself. So there we go, I've got my solution. IKEA. Now, what I can also do, I don't need to use keywords. I can also use images. So, for example, a big change for remote working is working with the people. But rather than having people there on the branch, what I might want to do instead is add an image there instead. So to do that, we want to open the image panel. So if I click on the branch and click on the eye icon there, this brings up the formatting panel. Oh, just a reminder, there is an option to ask questions. I'll be answering all the questions at the end of the webinar. So don't worry, your question will be answered, but after the end, once I finish the webinar. So I've got the formatting panel open here, and if I want to add an image, just need to click add. So much like I had with the central idea, I've got the option to either upload an image that I already have on my laptop, or I can search through the royalty-free site for an image that I want to use. I also had the option to use an emoji. So I'm just going to click search. And add my image here. And because it is an organic branch, the images will show above the branch, and I can actually move it around, so I can have it really close to the branch, or I can move it a bit further away. And in fact, I can even start making changes to the branch. So for example, if I wanted this image to be in a box attached to the branch, if I click I again, at the moment it doesn't have a box. If I click any of these, it changes it and adds it there. Then if I want to adjust the size so I can see more of the image, I can click down here and adjust it. I have more options up here. So if I click edit, I can choose to crop the image. So I can choose exactly what part I want to show. I also have the option to hide the text. So if I don't want to see the word people on there, I just put a tick here and the text gets removed so that the image is just speaking for me. And down here at the moment I've got it so that it's a cover image, but if I wanted to shrink that, I can choose to have it a smaller size within the text box. Where that works really well, we actually did this as a team the other day. We put together a mind map with everyone's contact details so we could all stay in touch, and we used a very sort of similar layout with the image so that everyone had their little avatar next to them and their name, and then they put their contact details in the notes. So different image styles will work differently for whatever you're trying to communicate. In this instance, I'm going to stick with the cover image as I think it works better. Okay, so I'm going to move on to my next branch just to show you how I would change the style of a particular branch. So I pop back to formatting panel. Now down here next to branch shape, I can choose to change the shape of my branch. Now once I start doing that, it won't quite have the same shape as the organic anymore, but you'll still have that same amount of control as you did on the organic branch. Down here, I can change the color. And if I was to add a box branch here, I can make the box branch color different if I wanted to. Where that can be quite useful is if you've created quite a large mind map and you want to draw attention to particular parts of it, changing the color of the box branch or a branch will really draw your eye to that particular branch. I'll just show you an example in this bigger mind map here. So this is what I did earlier. It's quite large by this point. Let's say there was a particular point I wanted to remember. I click on the eye. And I just change that color there. If I zoom out, then that particular branch really stands out compared to the rest of the map. Now, if I wanted to apply this new style to all of my branches, if I click on the eye, down at the bottom here, you've got Apply Style to Children. And if I click that, that means that every branch I create after this will have the same style as the branch before. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that The best way to mind map is to try and stick to one word per branch, but I know from experience that's not always possible, especially when you're trying to communicate quite a bit of information. So there's two different ways I would suggest approaching this. So one is, rather than using just an organic branch, if there's information that you want to get across, for example, right now that is quite a long sentence to have on that branch. If I click on it, open this up, and pop it in a box branch instead, that's a whole lot easier. Now, if I want to communicate more than that, what I can also do is, within this panel, there's a notes panel. So I can add more information here. And once you've added a note, you'll see that on the branch. So if you've added branches with notes and you're sharing that with other people, they're going to be able to see that, they'll be able to click into it, and they'll be able to read the context or the extra information that you wanted to provide about that particular branch. Now, the biggest benefit of Ayoa, especially at the moment as I'm finding it, definitely finding out, is that you can collaborate with other people from wherever you are. So at the moment, I'm just in this mind map by myself. But if I click on add, then I can add people to this mind map. That I can even invite people who haven't got Ayoa yet by typing in their email, and that will invite them to create an Ayoa account. And now these two people will be able to contribute to this mind map in real time. I'll be able to see exactly what they've added, and I can continue adding to the map as well. Up here is a different feature we have called the idea bank. So if you've got to the point where you're not quite you've got an idea but you're not quite sure where to put it, this is an excellent place to add it. So and basically what this adds is a branch in this little bank here. You can choose whether you want to share that with everyone on the mind map or if you want to keep it private. And you can leave that up there for as long as you want. And then as you start building your map, you might think, okay, actually, I know where I want to put this. Just drag and drop, pop it on the branch, and then it gets moved from your idea bank onto the branch. So not only can you edit the branches, you can also edit the text. To do that, either double click, or if you click there, just click the little pencil icon and it will let you edit the text. So as long as it's highlighted, I can make it bold, underline it, and I can adjust the size and color. I can also add an emoji if I want. So that is how I would edit the text. You do have different options as well. So this is the organic view, which is the more traditional way of mind mapping, but our other styles might be better for you. So if you click as view as, you can switch to either speed map or radial map at any time, and you can keep switching between the two depending on what works best for you. So for example, if I switch to speed maps, What this does is it just makes my mind map a bit more compact. When I add a branch, it will automatically clean it up and keep everything well proportioned, and it means that I'm not worrying so much about where I'm going to place it. I can just get ideas down really quickly. And this view works really well with our speed keys. If you want to see these, all you need to do is pop up to the menu, click Show Speed Keys, and you'll see all the shortcuts we have so that you can add branches really quickly. For example, if I just hit Tab, I can enter new branch. And it means rather than dragging back and forth, I can just use my shortcuts to get ideas down really quickly, which I find works really well for me in the speed map view. Our other view is the Radial Map View, which I won't spend too much time on today. We did a webinar on Radial Map last week. We'll probably do one again in the future as well. But just to show you how the mind map we've been working on looks a bit different within Radial View. Go to the top here, I can switch back to the organic view in the way that I started before. Now, if you want to share your map with other people, whether that's to collaborate or just show off what you've been doing, there are a couple of easy ways to do that. So if you have an Ayoa subscription, you've got the option to export as a PDF. So if you go to the settings up here and click Export PDF, you've got the option to either export it as a PDF image, or a feature that's actually coming out tomorrow, you'll be able to export it as a text document, which is a way of printing out your mind map as a text outline. A way where this is really useful is especially if you're outlining either a report, it could be an essay. You can get your ideas down, either the key headings in your mind map. You can then export it as a text document and go from there. If you've chosen to export your mind map as a PDF, now once it's exported, it's yours to do what you like with. You could send it through email, you can print it out. It's up to you what you do with that then to share it with other people. I do apologise. As I mentioned, I'm now working from home, so I'm just getting used to a not ideal internet connection. So I'll have to work on that for next week. Bear with me just a moment. So while that's loading, there's another option on how to share your mind map with others. So this is quite a new feature that we released in the last few weeks. It's called public mind mapping. And what that allows you to do is if I pop up here and click public sharing and click yes, that creates a link that I can share with other people. So I can share that link with people who already have Ayoa without actually adding them to the map. They will be able to contribute whatever I allow them to. So for example, I can allow them to add branches, add branch comments, or vote on branches, and they'll be able to contribute. Or if I simply wanted them to view the mind map without being able to edit, I don't need to check any of this. But what I can also do is share this with people who don't have an Ayoa account at all. If they don't have an Ayoa account and they don't sign in, they'll be able to view the map. But if they want to interact with it, all they need to do is just quickly sign up for an Ayoa account, and they'll also be able to add branches or add comments if you want to. So it's a great way of getting mind mapping out there and getting people working and collaborating with you. In our settings as well, we've got an option for dark mode. for people who prefer to work in that way. We only have it for organic and speed maps at the moment. If I click here, it just gets rid of that white space and just reduces that glare a bit. So just some other things that you can do within the My Map view. We've got our categories as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move over to my bigger My Map here. So if I wanted to outline a few different branches, I can use categories. And to do that, what I need to do is hold Control, and I can start selecting different branches. So if I click here, I can create a category. As you can see, it's outlined the branches. If I click on formatting here, I can choose what color, what style I want that to be. So that's another way of, you know, especially if you put a lot of different ideas down on a mind map, it's a great way of just highlighting ideas you want to move forward on, or ideas you want to communicate with other people. This menu as well, you can use to mass delete different branches, you know, cut, copy and paste as well. If you wanted to show a relationship between different branches, we've got that option as well. Just going to disable dark mode a second. So, for example, if I want to select a few branches and show that they are connected, as long as I've already got two connected, I'll see this option here. This is called Create Connection. For anyone who's used other mind mapping software before, you might remember this as a relationship arrow. And it does just that. It shows a relationship between two different branches and two completely different areas. So where that can be useful is if you've started a thread of two completely different branches, but you've ended up coming to the same conclusion on both of them, or you've realized you've already come up with that idea somewhere else, you know, you can put that relationship between them so that it's easy to spot. So, just to go through a couple of different options in the side here that you might not be aware of. So I've already shown you this different styles that you can have and notes. But what you can also do is, if you've got people on that mind map, you can start asking them questions about the particular branch, or even give them your feedback. You can attach links and you can attach documents as well. The thing about Ayoa being cloud-based is no matter what device you're on, you're going to be able to access any links or attachments on there. Okay, so I've had a couple of questions on Q&A. So I've covered quite a few things on the My Map view. So what I'm going to do now is focus on questions from other people. So I believe I've already answered some of them. So I showed you how to print a mind map earlier. A question I've had is about resizing the view of the map on the page. Now the way I do it is with the scroll on my mouse. And I drag the map about to reposition it, and I use the scroll to zoom and zoom out. If you've got a laptop, then you can do that on your tracker. So pull your fingers in towards you to zoom out and push them away to zoom in. So the way you do that may be dependent on the laptop that you have. You've also got the controls down here. So I can click minus to zoom out, plus to zoom in. And then if I want the map to be adjusted so it fits perfectly within that space, if you look here, click there, it resizes the map so that you can view it all. Okay, so I think I've answered 2 questions there. So I hope I've shown you how you get the full view of your mind map again. So I've actually got a question about Radial Map now. We did do a webinar about Radial last week. If you're able to email me at support@ayoa.com, I'd be happy to send that over to you so that you can view that webinar in full. But I'll answer your question now. So I'm just going to click to Radial View. So on Q&A, I got someone who's asked about why it only shows 3 rings, and the reason for that is down here. I don't know if you can see that in the bottom left-hand corner. So down here you can control how many levels of your radial map you view. So at the moment it's set to 3, but if I move that up, then it shows, and I can show all the levels. So once again, that's right down here, and you can choose how many levels at once you want to display. Okay, so I hope that helped. Okay, so a question I've just had is it possible to save as a different version? No, you would need to create a copy by creating a template. So you can do that up here, create template from the mind map. Then once that template is created, you can access that template at any time by going to Browse, clicking New Mind Map, and then choose Template. So in here, we've got a load of pre-made templates to choose from, and then after that, you'll view any templates that you've created yourself. Okay, I'm just reading through the other questions now. We do record all our webinars. As you've signed up, probably tomorrow now, you'll receive an email with a link to view this webinar. So we have been keeping all the recordings, so anyone who either missed it or just wanted to see something again will be able to rewatch. Okay. So I've just had a question about reorder. So recorded webinars will be sent after the webinar. So tomorrow we'll be sending an email with a link to that. If you want access to a previous webinar, could you email support@ayoa.com and we'd be happy to send you that link. Question I've just had, can I insert a branch between branches? No, you can't, and you'd have to reshuffle the branch about. And the next question I had was about radial view, about moving around different nodes. So for example, if I want to move a node about, I just need to drag it and put it in between where I want to put it, and it gets added to the next node. Now what I can't do, I can't swap that node with this node, because this node is the parent one to all of these. So I can move, when I move a node that is the parent of other nodes, it's going to take all those with them. So for example, if I drag and drop this here, it takes the node that was attached to it there. So Ayoa is a cloud-based app. So all the maps are automatically synced to our cloud, and you can't export it as an IMX file because Ayoa is a separate app. You can import IMyMap files. So for example, if I go to Home, I click on Browse, and I click Import, I can drag and drop IMyMap files here, but I can't export my maps as an IMX file. Okay, so I'm just reading a question from someone else now. I haven't disappeared, I'm just reading the question. Okay, so I've just had a question about reformatting. I might need a bit more information about that one. So if it's possible to pop me over an email at support@ayoa.com, I'll be happy to talk through that with you, just so I completely understand what's happening there. So you don't need to save your mind map. It's all automatically synced to the cloud. So anything you add, it's already saved and backed up. So there's no save button on there. You don't need to back it up. It's all automatically saved to the cloud. At the moment, there's not a plan for a save, but we are exploring different options for exporting the maps, but I can't confirm any more details than that, as that's something that we're looking forward to at the moment. Okay, I think the question I think regarding presentation, I think you're referring to our older software, which was IMyMap. So we don't have that feature in Ayoa, as it's different software. So just to let people know who haven't used cloud software before, we back up everything that our customers put on, so that all your work is safe. We ensure that there are regular backups, so you don't need to worry about the security of your mind maps or any taskboards that you create. So are there any more questions about mind mapping? Okay, so while I'm just waiting for, so I just had another question, but I'm afraid I don't understand the question that you're asking regarding summary at end of the branches. I might need you to email me just to explain a bit more, because I'm afraid I don't understand the question. So for anyone who does have any further questions or need something a bit more detail, you can email the support team at any time at support@ayoa.com. We also have a huge amount of support guides that show all the different features in Ayoa. So you can find that on our website, and you can also find it at support.ayoa.com. And there's a huge amount of guides there. We also have a YouTube channel where we put tutorials as well. We'll be doing weekly webinars. This Friday, we're actually doing a special webinar where the focus will be on working remotely, as that's a situation that a lot of us have suddenly found ourselves in. And it would be great to not only show you how you can work remotely using Ayoa, but also actual examples of how we've been using it as a company to adapt to this new way of working. Okay, are there any more questions? Okay, so I'll be finishing the webinar now, but as I mentioned, any further questions? Okay, I did answer the question about Tony Bazan and presentations. What it sounds like you're describing is our older software, iMindMap, which we released many years ago. We don't have that feature in Ayoa. But if anyone else has any further questions, then you can contact us at support@ayoa.com, and we'd be happy to help you and walk you through any other features that you're interested in. Okay, if you want to see past and future webinars, you can sign up to webinars on our website. If there are links to previous webinars you want to see, if you could email at support@ayoa.com, and we'll be happy to send these over to you. Okay, I will now be signing off, but if you've got any more questions, please email support@ayoa.com, and we'll be happy to help you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you'll join us on future webinars.